Host today, and I am so excited to hang out with you. Are you having trouble figuring out how to brand yourself? Well, you are in the right place because we are going to have a lot of fun today. And welcome. So, first, I want to remind you, if you are watching from your office or your couch at home, remember that you are absolutely part of this conversation. So, leave tons and tons of comments. Bonnie is here with us today, and I am excited to get to know her and find out a lot more about her perspective on this. And so, we'll get right into it, Bonnie. I'm going to start you off with this question. What did you do to position yourself as a branding expert? What are the things that you did to position yourself?
Well, good morning, Peggy, and thanks for having me here. I've gone through a lot of iterations of my personal brand and my business brand because I came from a corporate background originally, all about marketing communications. And then when I evolved into a business owner, I had to figure out, how I was going to represent myself in the marketplace. So looking at, what I was offering at the time, I was doing content marketing for people, writing their blog posts, their social media newsletters. And so I was promoting myself as a writer. And then people started coming to me for coaching. So that just made more sense to me. I could help more people, get more specific. It was more rewarding. And so then I evolved into a more coaching business model. So when you whichever way, what as a writer or a coach, I had to present myself as the expert or authority in that arena. Otherwise, how would people know that you would be the person to go to if you needed any writing work or content work? So that's a big part of branding, is knowing who you are and what you're offering and how you present yourself to people.
I love that. I think for me, I've been a professional photographer for over 33 years, almost 34 years. And even though I have a ton of experience, I've always kind of either been known for doing this or doing that, or, for many years I did, newborns and baby's first year. And I was really known for that. I did other things, but that's what I was known for. And then weddings and events and different things over the years. But about 8-9 years ago, I started really specializing in headshots. And I felt like a brand new even though I had all this technically all this experience as a photographer, I felt brand new in this. And I was like, why are people going to come to me? And so I really went out of my way to create content of me talking about what I had learned. I had a podcast and a video show talking to experts in the industry and really narrowing it down and really positioning myself as somebody who knows a lot of people and understands how this works. And I think it's important that when we're marketing ourselves, we realize that everything we do is part of marketing ourselves. Like if we're onto a podcast, if we're whatever we're doing is part of us showing up in our expertise. And so that's what I did to really stand out as an expert in the field.
Yeah, that's totally it. We're, especially in our online world now, everywhere you present yourself, even in your own personal social profiles, you have to show up as a professional looking person. I mean, it's certainly okay to have your personal life on social media, but at the same time, you have to be careful about what you might be representing. Excuse me. Whether that, I mean, we won't get into this conversation, but like religion and politics, for example, that's not something, if you're running a business, that's not something that you're going to engage in conversation with on social media platforms. If you're not in a business, then, go for it, have that conversation. But it is about your business brand really reflects your personal brand, and vice versa. So it's important to be kind of on all the time.
Absolutely. All right, let's get motivated. The next question is, why is it important to be specific in branding yourself?
Great question. If you want to stand out from all those millions of people out there that are doing the same thing as you are, then you have to get more specific. And that could be the types of product you offer, or it could be how you represent yourself, whether, maybe you're wearing a clown suit all the time, and that's who your brand is, right? Maybe you're targeting children and you want to be recognized as that clown or that icon. So being specific, it helps with that positioning. Again, it helps people identify who you are. So if they're thinking of buying something and they've been following you, or they find you, that you're likely the person that they're willing to buy from. Or it could be, I don't know, something along the lines of, yeah, so I lost my train of thought there. We're talking about branding, being specific.
Being
Yeah,
specific, yeah.
yeah. So identifying yourself so people can identify you specifically. When they're thinking of buying, it's you that they think of because you've been putting yourself out there consistently.
I agree 100%. I think that this is one area that people make the biggest mistake in, and that is they have the mindset that they have to um, be available to everyone. And I want everyone to know that everyone's my ideal client. I'm here for everyone. As a photographer, it's easy to say, oh, well, if you need photographs, you're my ideal client, but that's not true. Who is my ideal client? Well, right now I'm specializing in headshots. I work with actors and I work with entrepreneurs and corporate. So the people that are my ideal clients are the people that understand the importance of having effective headshots. So if you think about that, what does that mean? How do I attract those people? Every conversation I have in all of my marketing is targeted to those people. Now, if somebody comes in that needs baby pictures or family pictures or event pictures, do I still do that? Absolutely. But I'm not going to take my time and my marketing dollars to promote to that. Now, why does that work? The more specific you are, the more broad you reach, because if you're just throwing out a net, then you're not going to catch anybody's attention. But once you catch that person's attention, then they get interested. Oh, wow, you're really good at this. Oh, you know a lot about this. Do you happen to also do this? Do you also do that? And because they see you as an expert in one thing, then it opens their curiosity up to what else can you do? But if you're just broad, then they don't take the time. They're like, oh, they're all over the place, right? But when we're specific, we're seen as that thing, and then it opens up that imagination. What else could you do? And another thing, when you draw in your ideal client, they're going to tell their friends what a great experience they had with you, and they're going to do that broad marketing for you for free. You're
That's
not
right.
spending your time and money marketing to this broad audience. They're doing all that for free. You pull in one person and they tell five people, and bring that broad marketing into you. So it's more efficient. It's less expensive. And it honestly, you're going to get more results when you're specific than when you're just like, hey, I'm great for everything. No,
Well, it
what are
affects messaging as well. Everything, your website, your brochures, your social, like you have to have that specific target. Otherwise, no one is going to be attracted. So think
exactly?
about your product being, are you serving men? or women, or are you serving teenagers or seniors? Like, you're going to talk to those different people in a different way, different language. They've got different needs and pain points that you're going to address. It's, lots of people in marketing and branding always talk about people who are selling, skincare products. It's like, my audience is anybody with skin. And all I can think of is like, I don't know anybody with skin, right? It's so general. It's got to be something, whether it's men or women or aging or
Exactly.
disease or whatever that is, right? So it's important. I like what you said. It's important that you have a target audience, and that's who you want to attract. Those are the people that you want to work with. But if my neighbor or their friend wants to come and work with me, then hey, that's okay too. That's just not who I'm targeting in my marketing, but I'm happy to work with them.
Right. And Monica added in here, anyone and everyone gets you no one. That's so true.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone and everyone gets you know it, because I like the skincare thing, because let's say I have a teenager and I am looking for somebody to help with acne, right? So I find somebody that specializes in acne, and my teenager has wonderful results, and then I'm like, hey, do you have anything for
Yeah,
this little thing that's happening right here? Right, that's how it works, because once I see, oh wow, this product worked perfectly,
yeah,
what you advertised it, can you also help me with this problem? And yeah, I think you nailed it. You have to be specific, you have to, and then let that broad marketing happen naturally. All right, my producer's telling me it's time to ask another question. Okay, let's stay inspired. How does a lack of understanding how to position yourself in marketing affect how we move in life and business? So, what happens if we don't understand what we've been talking about? How does that affect us?
well, it can stall you in so many ways. If you don't have an understanding, if you don't have that knowledge, or find out that knowledge. I mean, we all seek out knowledge, whether it's webinars or workshops or training, because we don't know what we don't know. So if you're not understanding it, you're going to be trying to target too many people. You likely won't be able to present your message, like what are you selling and why. Because selling is not about, buy my stuff because it's great. It's like, what's in it for that person? How is it going to help that person, whether it's a product or a service? Because you have to promote benefits. So if you're not understanding where you um, fit in the market, or how your brand can be perceived, then your message is going to be mixed up and lost, and it's not going to attract the people that you want to.
Absolutely. And I think, oh, look, we have a comment. Okay. This is from Colleen. The goal is for them to have someone pop in their head when you describe who you serve. That's right. Like when somebody says, anyone and everyone is
Not a
not a
contact.
contact in your phone. That's true. That's right. Anyone and anyone. Who should you have that pops up specifically? If I say I specialize in getting people effective headshots, it's going to take their marketing to the next level. Who's going to pop into your head? Oh, you know what? So and so's rebranding their website. They need this. They need to go to Peggy, right? Oh, if you say I'm working with people to help them nail down their content, I can be like, oh, you know what, that's me, I'm trying to like up my content game, we need to hook up, right? That's, you need to have that person that comes to top of mind.
What
And
I've
I
seen
think
too often is when we talk about ideal client, or that avatar, that perfect person, you've got their name, how old they are, what they do for a living. um, Often that avatar is yourself, depending on what you're selling. Often people, solopreneurs in particular, they get into business because they have they're on a mission, right? Either they've recovered from a disease or a life trauma or something like that, and they want to help people get out of those similar situations. So really, they're their ideal client. So if they can take pieces of that and your experience and your story, then you can turn that over into attracting other people.
I love that. And that's so true because most of us are doing things that we love or that we're passionate about. That's the whole reason that we're in this. I think another thing that affects you if you don't understand this is that you put so much time and energy into marketing, and if you're just throwing broad nets out there, if you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping that something catches, something, that you're spending so much time, so much energy, and so much money, and you're not seeing any return from that, then you get frustrated and you get burned out. And I think that's where burnout comes in, is when you think, well, I've been doing all this, I've been on social media for 2 years and I've got no clients and this doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And I've spent all this money and what is it for? And then you're just frustrated and you think that your product isn't good. You start second guessing yourself, like, well, maybe I'm not that good of a photographer. Maybe people don't like my work. No, you didn't understand how to reach the people that need your work. And so I think it's important for your own sanity to not reach burnout, is to understand who you need to market to, because then you're going to see results in that marketing and in that branding. And when you see results, you get excited, right? And when you get excited, you have this burst of energy and you're like, yes. And then you're like ready to put like 10 more, 10 more, social media posts out, like you got this, versus spending, month after month, week after week, putting out stuff and not seeing any, engagement, anything happening. It gets tiring and it's hard on your mental health, and you
Yeah.
start,
And
yeah.
that goes back to the understanding. If you're in business, you really have to wrap your head around sales and marketing,
Mhm.
and they're both big boxes to figure out. So pick a lane. Try one or two things. Marketing is all about testing, but it's also about being consistent. So you have to consistently put yourself out there. Otherwise, people are not going to see you. And if you're invisible, they're not going to be able to buy from you.
I have I'm going to read this comment first, and then I have a funny story about being consistent. All right, Colleen. I love that Colleen's here today. Yes, Bonnie, I created Fall in Love with Follow Up because I needed it and couldn't find it. Exactly.
Good one.
When you have a problem, you're solving your own problem. And Monica, I always say that um, that is the key listening. What is the key listening igniter? Indicator. I'm sorry, guys. What will people say to a friend that triggers this in conversation? When somebody says, when you're in conversation, what's that igniter? What's that indicator? What's that key word that you hear? And you're like, oh, Monica does that. Oh, Colleen does that. People are like, oh, I'm really bad with follow up. I'm like, Colleen, Colleen. Or I talk to a lot of people, but they don't ever book. Colleen. So, it's really understanding that. So I have a funny story that kind of came up in conversation, and it was back. This is how old I am and how long I've been marketing myself. I used to put ads in magazines, and I was in this magazine. I ran an ad in a weekly magazine for years, probably like 2-3 years, and I saw zero, not one person contacted me from that. 4 years after that magazine had closed, someone called me and booked this huge, very lucrative gig with me, and said, 4 years ago, I saw you in this magazine and I cut your ad out and I put it on my refrigerator. 4 years. And that this one job way paid for all of the advertising that I had done in that magazine. And who knows who else saw that and actually called me, but I just didn't realize that was one of the building blocks on that. So consistency, you have to just constantly
Be
keep
visible. Be
that. You
visible.
have to always be there. So anyway, that story came up in conversation the other day, and I was like, oh, that was funny. That was a funny story. All
Thank
right,
you.
keep networking. All right, Bonnie, who should we ask for help when we are trying to brand our business?
That's another great question. I think solopreneurs, business people often work in isolation. You have all these ideas, you have a vision, you want things to look this way, this is how I see the direction. But if you're doing all these things without feedback from the people that you're trying to support, you're likely not going to hit the mark. So I would suggest, say you've been in business already and people know what you do, but say in my case, I switched from doing marketing for people to coaching people on how to do content marketing. So I asked the people that I was already serving, it's like, I'm thinking of doing this. What would be helpful to you? What would help you in your business? And what would you pay for? Because there's no sense putting up a service if no one wants it or wants to pay for it. So that's a great place to start. Think about your networking colleagues. Again, I used to do a lot of in-person networking, chambers of commerce, women's groups, all local based, and I would ask them because they've known me for a long time. They know I'm about marketing, so I've built some respect and engagement with them, and so those were great places to work with as well. Another group of people are what you could call them power partners, or upstream or downstream networking people that maybe have a similar audience to you, or somebody that, say, after someone works with you, they would move on to go work with another person or vice versa. Say someone's building a website for somebody, I get referrals from website builders to come. It's like, okay, now you need to do a blog and a newsletter, you should talk to Bonnie. So there's those people out there as well. Ask them. They're professionals. They work with different people. So in the website example, it's, so, Susie, do you have people that, need this type of service? Or are they starting, do they need a lead magnet for their website and the emails that go with that? It's like, well, yeah, actually, this new person that I just started for their website. So you can ask questions about different aspects of your business, even pricing. Who in your group or who in your circle is doing this, and do you know how much they charge? So it really is about research, and just doing it with people in your circle, people who already know you.
I love it. And Monica popped in, don't do it alone. Always get feedback. And Colleen said, my Mink co-worker peeps, they are a wealth of knowledge and support. So I'm going to throw a shameless plug out for this community, because as I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been self-employed, and I've always felt like I've done everything by myself until a few years ago when I got involved in this community. And I feel like I have a wealth of people to be my maps, people that have gone before me that are successful, and B, people that are mirrors that can say, hey, Peggy, you got some spinach between your teeth. You need to go clean that up. That doesn't sound right. And I think that's the key, is to really focus on getting that feedback, and having people around you that's going to tell you when that's dumb, don't do it. And anyone that knows me knows that I am like the idea person. I'm like, hey, and people are like, why would you say that, Peggy? That doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, no, it's cool. They're like, no, try again. Oh, okay. And so it's good to have those people that are like, you're not as cool as you think you are. You're just not. And you can step over and go, oh, okay. And then fix it. Because if you're just surrounding yourself by yes, oh, yes, you're great. Oh, you're wonderful. Oh, you're so great. Then it's not, it's, hey, Peggy. And Bonnie, it's not going to help you. It's not going to make you better. Always surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and honest, and you'll go far. Well, Bonnie, this has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. So it is now time for you to give us your one last tip. What one tip do you want to give to our viewers to help them build their brand?
Whoa, there's so many places I could go with that, I guess. uh, for me, it goes back to your personal brand. It's about, we hear the word authentic, um, genuine. People do business with people. So you might be creating a fancy brand with a fancy logo, and you're putting, your message out there. You've got a great service or product, but people are going to buy from you. So you have to show up as the leader. People look for leaders, people want to be led. So if you do that, then the rest will follow in.
Absolutely. That is awesome. Okay, so my one last tip, I think I'm going to yes and Bonnie say yes, absolutely. Be authentic, show up as who you are. I know you if you've watched the show before, you've heard the story. I grew up in an entrepreneur home. My parents were self-employed. I've never been in an environment, a corporate environment or a 9 to 5 environment. So I was raised, always put on this, your work, never let anybody see you, always be perfect. You don't want it to do anything that's going to cause the family name or the business to look bad. And then as I stepped into my own business, I kind of lived like that for many, many years. And then I realized, no, people want to buy from me because of my opinions, because of my personality, because of my quirkiness, because of who I am. And it's okay for me to let people see who I am, because you're going to be doing business with me, you're going to be hanging out with me, so you should really know up front if I'm your cup of tea. And I think that when we put our fears down of rejection and just present ourselves as who we are, that's when our actual ideal clients are going to come to us, because like Bonnie said, you are your ideal client. So your ideal clients are going to like you. They're going to understand what you're saying, and they're going to want to know what you have to help them get to that next level. So just be yourself and have fun. You chose this life because you wanted to have the freedom and joy of being your own boss. So actually do that, because you are awesome. That's right. Bonnie, this has been great. It's time for announcements now. Announcements. And I'm a little congested. I wouldn't sing anyway. So the congestion thing has nothing to do with me not singing Monica's announcement song. But Bonnie, tell us what is going on in your world, how people can connect with you and work with you.
Yeah, great. Um, my name is Bonnie Chomica, and my website is bonniechomica.com. I invite you to go have a visit there. I do coaching. I coach people on how to do content marketing. So that's how to get that visibility and exposure, build your credibility, and how to do it consistently, because that's the key. So you can visit my website. You can book a one-on-one call. It's a free call. We can talk about your marketing, and I'll give you some tips on what direction you could take. And I have a free gift at the top of my homepage. You can download a free writing tips book, which you can start using right away, because it's for all your writing.
I love it. I love it. And that was Monica that sneezed, by the way. I'm not taking credit for that. Um, anyway, bless you, Monica. So, if you want to know how to use your headshot as one of the biggest parts of your marketing strategy, after all, your profile picture, your headshot is so oftentimes your very first impression. give me a call, set up a time for a free consultation, and let me see if I can help you learn how to get an effective headshot. And you don't have to be in the LA area. If you're in the LA area, then we can move forward and I can book and actually do your headshots. But if not, I can give you the information you need so that you can successfully get this from other photographers. So go to my website, book a free consultation. I look forward to hanging out with you. Now let's see what's going on in the mink community. So as you know, we have this amazing community and we have so much fun, as you can see by all of our shows. We love hanging out with each other and working together. And we have a private group that you can be part of. And we have a wealth of knowledge. I mean, a wealth of knowledge and resources. And it is an amazing place to be. It is called our Mingle. Now, our Minkubator started out as a kind of a little challenge. It was just a few weeks long, and we were like, no, we're going to live here. This is going to stay. And we come together and we work where it's different breakout rooms. If you need quiet time, if you're like, hey, like I shared, I sometimes have crazy ideas and I like to run them by people, and people can either tell me how awesome I am or shake their head and roll their eyes at me, which usually is what happens. But anyway, it's great to get feedback, typos, just information. Hey, I didn't understand this. So you have a little bit more clarity and you can make those adjustments before you put it out there to the world. And not only that, you just don't feel alone. You got somebody to show up for work for every day and hang out with at the water cooler. And of course, we have this amazing show. It is twice a week. It is Wednesday morning, which is where you're watching today, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And it is also Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific time. And then we also turn these into podcasts. And we also have an e-magazine, which is full of great tips, insights, and articles. Now, we are doing a fun thing between now and the end of the year. It is called Get Shit Done. It is Get Shit Done sessions. And what we're doing in this, we have an expert in different things. We have profit loss. We have clean your pantry. We have organize your files. We have all sorts of different things that's going to help you clear things off of your to-do list and get everything that you needed done this year done before the end of the quarter. And so you can go to the website and schedule to come and join this and be a part of our Get Shit Done stuff. And I'm telling you, it has been so effective and so many good stories have been coming out of this. So make sure you join us in this. And that is it. We did it, Bonnie. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And thank you all of the wonderful people that have been listening on the couch. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay and leave us comments. We will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. with Colleen. And as always, it's going to be some amazing, amazing show. So we will see you and have a great day. Bye.